Hey everybody, it's Father Corrigan, and it's good to be back with you. I hope you enjoy these little videos as much as I enjoy producing them. This is one of those things they didn't teach us in the seminary. It's sort of like 80% of this job is, on the job training. So it's kind of fun. It's different. Um, but I certainly look forward to the time when we can be back together in the usual way. So this is the sixth Sunday of Easter. Uh, this is Saturday evening, May 16th, and the picture today comes from a place many of you might recognize. This is Furnace Run. Today's walk was all the way down Everett Hill to the Everett Connector, and then all the way back up Wheatley Road past this exact site up to Revere and then back to St. Victor. So it was a beautiful 5 mile walk that began in the fog and ended up in a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. So this weekend, there are two videos, and this video is going to be our usual, scriptural, seasonal kind of reflection. But there is another video this weekend that has to do with practical matters in view of the fact that some of our parishes are going to be returning to some kind of limited public liturgy beginning on May 30th. So I wanted to start today with the gospel for the weekend because this weekend's gospel really is, it's really rather extraordinary, and I think that you'll recognize it. Jesus said to his disciples, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to be with you always, the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot accept, because it neither sees nor knows him. But you know him because he remains in you, and I will be in you. I will not leave you orphans. I will come to you. In a little while, the world will no longer see me, but you will see me because I live and you will live. On that day, you will realize that I am in the Father, and you are in me, and I in you. Whoever has my commandments and observes them is the one who loves me. And whoever loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and reveal myself to him." That's John chapter 14. I think it's really important in this particular season that we're living through to remember that God does not leave us orphaned. He always will bring us back to him, and he will always enwrap us in his loving arms. One of the things I've been thinking of is that promise that Jesus gave us, that the Spirit would always be with us. And that's really, really important for us to take that to heart, because I know that it's difficult not to receive communion on a weekly basis. It's really comforting to know that God does dwell within each and every one of us. And that is whether we are able to receive communion or not. You know, as I've said more than once, just because we are not able at this time to receive communion does not mean we stop being a Eucharistic people. I heard a priest on the internet just a few days ago talking about this period of time, and he was talking about this time of fasting from the Eucharist. And I didn't like that at all, because in honesty, we don't stop being a Eucharistic people just because we're not receiving communion. And this reality is underscored for us this weekend when Jesus reminds us of that promise of the Spirit that dwells within each and every one of us. I had a spiritual director in the seminary once who was very wise. He was a very well-known theologian, and we were talking once about the feast of Holy Thursday and the Mass of the Lord's Supper. And as you know, this is the Mass when, at one point during the celebration, um, there's a washing of the feet as a reminder of what Jesus did. He got down on his knees and washed the feet of his disciples. And then he said, "What I have done, you also must do," which clearly pertains to both the action of washing one another's feet, but also the behavior of breaking bread and sharing the cup of salvation. So we went on, we had this little bit of a theoretical discussion, and it went a little bit like this. It was, historically, the sacraments all go through a period of evolution. For example, if you look at the sacrament of penance as it was celebrated in the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th century, it's nothing how it is celebrated today. And so the sacraments sort of go through a little bit of an evolution. For example, the Eucharist. Many of us received communion when we were 7. Some of our grandparents or great grandparents, they might have received First Communion when they were 17. But our friends in the Eastern Church, they sometimes give a little piece of communion to a little baby at the time of their baptism and confirmation, because they believe that these 3 sacraments should never be taken apart, because their unity is, in a sense, part of their very essence. And so as our little discussion went on, my friend, my former spiritual director, said, this whole celebration of the Eucharist could have evolved in an entirely different way. We could be the people who come together once a year on Holy Thursday for the breaking of the bread and the sharing of the cup. And every other week of the year on Sunday, we come together and wash one another's feet. Could have happened. Could happen that way. It didn't. Probably, maybe it's good that it didn't. But the point is that these 2 actions are so integrally united, that the fact that we are limited to celebrating Eucharist by washing one another's feet right now is really giving us an opportunity to rediscover what the Eucharist really means for us. And it's in a way, it's kind of a gift. I don't really think it's good, as some people have, to look at this time as a gift, because it sort of obscures the reality that this is a very incredibly difficult and horrible time for many people. But it's given us an opportunity to at least reflect on what the Eucharist does mean, that it's the sharing the bread and the cup, but it's also getting down on our knees and washing one another's feet. And I think that is a lot of what you are doing in our parish community, in our homes, in the context of our families and our community. So as long as we continue to wash one another's feet in loving service, in imitation of Jesus at the Last Supper, and in recognition of the reality that the Holy Spirit is within each and every one of us, we'll never stop being a Eucharistic people. May the peace of Christ be with you and also with you. Now, be sure that you watch the other video for this weekend, because that will include the nuts and bolts with respect to how some of our parishes are beginning to enter into a time of public liturgy. See you later. Bye-bye.